Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Conversations. You are correct, and you're seeing me, and it's late night, but you know what? We're going to have a little bit of fun for you night owls out there. Real Conversations is a show where we talk about real issues. We don't hold anything back, and we're here to inform and entertain. And I got a pretty nice guest tonight, but before I introduce him, I'm going to have a little commercial. When we get back, we're going to be jumping into it.
I know your beanbag built ass ain't out here taking this little girl bite. She said it's going in the house. I tell you what.
That's what I told you.
Hey, man.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Comic Steve Brown bringing a little bit of entertainment to you here late night. Tonight, I have got the illustrious, the bigger than life, if you will, personality from Off the Cuff podcast, Mr. Jeff Big Jefe Cologne. Welcome in.
All right on, man. Good introduction.
Well, I mean, it's no WWE interest, but, you know, we do what we can here on the CTS.
I hear you.
Special shout out to our man, Joseph Lozada, who is sitting at the security desk watching old reruns of Thundercats while he's clocked in. He's the guy who makes it all happen, so we have to give him a shout out. But tonight, we have an issue that we're going to be talking about that is near and dear to our heart, something that has come to the forefront, and what's going on right now. And this might stir up a little bit of trouble for us. So my big thing, before we jump into it, Jeff, I want people to understand, listen to what we're saying first before everyone just, jumps out at us, okay? Fair enough?
Yep.
So you and I have been talking over the past several weeks, maybe even longer than that, about how people are treating each other in regards to the vaccine, masking, just the whole sphere that this crazy virus has created. So I feel like, we need to talk about it instead of just kind of sitting back and watching the other keyboard warriors on various social media, go at other people. So I'm going to let you start things off, man. What's the biggest thing that's really been bothering you about it?
I'd say the biggest thing is just the fact that anybody can be so, I don't know, just vulgar and like hostile toward people they don't even know. I understand, getting the vaccine and protecting each other. I do tend to lean toward that, but I'm not one to judge someone for not getting it. They're not bad to me. They're not, they may have a medical problem. They have things that we don't even know because we don't know them. And I've talked to several people, actually, family members and friends that we can have a civil conversation with because, it's hard to find anybody that way anymore, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people that say they either have a medical condition, they can't take the vaccine, or, they may have a conspiracy theory.
Well, yeah.
People have those. Who are we to say that they're wrong? So that's my take on it. That's what's bothering me about it. And, just the fact that we can't talk anymore like we used to in the past about things without someone canceling us or getting upset about anything. I saw this post once on Facebook. I'm not trying to get off topic, but there was somebody posted a picture of a stick. I think you've probably seen this and said, they said, here's a picture of a stick. See if you see what you can find offensive about it or whatever it is. And lo and behold, people laughed and they understood the joke. But there were people that I seriously read comments that said, well, that stick should be longer, or, Why is that? Why is
Of
it
course.
so, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have been a joke, but it's just silly, man. That's how silly we sound, I feel. But just respect people's opinions. I think that we've lost that in America a little bit. So
Yeah. And I don't think that we're being taught respect anymore. I think we live in a society now where, you know, we thrive off of chaos and controversy. We choose that over the greater good a lot of the times.
right,
And also, too, we live in an age where, everything's out in the forefront. We are in the social media age. So we've got this unrealistic view of entitlement that me, you, or really just anybody can insert ourselves in whoever's story and not so much, voice our opinions calmly, but attack people, you know,
right.
and that's what I'm seeing is that everybody's attacking each other.
And then they take it to another level.
They absolutely
You know,
do. And like you said, man, no one's taking the time to truly understand their story, their journey, what their underlying issues are. No one also look, man. I'm scared about all this stuff that's going on. You're scared about all this stuff's going on. Man, there is so much unknown right now.
right,
But people will want to bypass the fear side of the fear side of it is just as critical as some of the other components of this virus that's going around. We don't know or understand the full side effects of these vaccines. There's
sure,
a lot out there that have been discovered. We don't know what's going to do in the short term. We don't know what's going to do in the long term. I've talked to some people here locally. People that I consider family. Family members as well as co-workers, friends, and so on that had conditions, or maybe didn't even have conditions at all, but either were suffering strokes, blood clots. Some of them dropped dead.
wow.
And
And this is
that's a scary thing. And
after the vaccine, or
what's that now?
was this after the vaccine?
Yes. And
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
and I'm not trying to start conspiracy theories at all because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying that, in those isolated incidents, no one knew what was going to happen. So there's this level of fear that people have because of that. They hear stories from family or friends or people they know where this stuff is going on. So they're hesitant to maybe take a vaccine.
Right.
But then we're caught in the middle because we're scared of the vaccine, possibly. We're also scared of the horrific effects of the virus itself. So for a lot of us, we're between a rock and a hard place, and we don't know what in the hell to do. But it doesn't help when we have people who are, I guess, missionaries of being woke jump into our lives and just start throwing all this stuff at us.
Right.
What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Just I think everything you said is on point, man. But like I said, going back to the reason people probably don't want to get the vaccine or whatever, there's so many reasons, and like I said, I don't think we should be the ones to judge that.
Right.
I think just take care of yourself. Take care of yourself as much as you can. Like my wife and I started taking vitamin C and
Yeah.
all the vitamins, and especially as we get older, we need to take care of ourselves more. I'm not the specimen of great physical attributes, but I do a little walking.
Yeah.
I hate exercise personally, but I do a little walking, and I get out there and talk to my wife, my kids, stuff like that, man. It's just take care of yourself, and don't worry about the next guy. I mean, yeah, worry about them if they're sick, and you say, hey, man, you should be wearing a mask out there. You have an immune deficiency or something,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I just think as it's horrible for people to just judge others so harshly, man. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've gone on social media and said some things about my view, and all I get is, now they call them trolls, right?
Right.
I get trolls going, uh, what kind of logic is that? That's faulty logic or something like that. And I'm like, maybe you think so, but it's mine, And this is why I wanted to do this with you, man. Just to hear other people's opinions and not judge them so harshly, just
Yeah.
I don't do it. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I have judged people's opinions before, but
Right.
it's just, on something so serious like this, it's like, you just want to come together versus splitting ourselves up even more than politics does or
Right.
media does, So
And it seems like, now more than ever, regardless of what the issue is, society is so hell bent on division and whatever they can do to create that. And I want to make a clear point to everybody who's listening right now. You and I discussed it before we jumped on the air. We're not advocating don't take the vaccine. We're not advocating do take the vaccine. What we are here is one, make an informed decision for yourself, first and foremost. Two, we're just here to promote that people just stop treating each other like crap, plain and simple. Now, I don't want that to be, missed in the whole grand scheme of things of what we talk about tonight, because I feel like it is. We need to be able to have, logical discussions, like you said, because I'm tired of going on social media, and I do my best to avoid hot button issues, whether it's political, whether it's activist issue, or name whatever your hot button topic is, because no matter how neutral you try to be, like you mentioned in that stick analogy, somebody is always going to get offended and take it to an extreme that shouldn't even be there.
right.
But the fact is, during a time that we should be coming together, people do not need to be attacking one another. And that's what it is. It's outright attack. I've seen a friend of mine's wife, posted some material, and another friend, mutual friend, starts going off on her, attacking her. And, it just blows my mind. What gives anybody the right to do that? I don't understand where we got to the point where it's okay to force our agendas on people, and it's nothing's wrong with that. As long as we force a certain agenda, it's okay. But if we don't agree with it, we're labeled as part of the problem.
Right. We're sheep or whatever, just following, like, for instance, I was trying to follow what the scientists were saying and all the data that they were collecting, right?
Right.
And I hear other people saying that, hey, you're being a sheep and you're following the herd, and why can't you think for yourself? I mean, look, I think for myself, but they're scientists. They're doing this every day. That's their living, so I don't know. I usually don't even bring it up with anyone. Like I said, I just take care of myself, and I think that's what people should do, man. Just take care of your immune system. If you get sick, don't automatically think it's COVID.
Right.
A lot of people do that. It could be just a common cold, because there is such thing as a common cold, and there's no cure for that. So
believe it or not, yeah.
You just have to, take your grandma's remedies there, some soup, and watch cartoons or something.
Hey, I'll take that any day. Matter of fact, your co-host Ulika has a couple of home remedies of his own. They're kind of out there, yeah. But hey,
yeah.
Who am I to discount his way of doing things? But one of the things I've seen people try to argue the most is that if you don't get this vaccine, it's going to spread it to other people. Well, here's the deal about that. The vaccine, if you actually read about it, it's not designed to stop the spread. It's designed to protect the recipient. It's still going to be carried regardless. So, but people seem to miss that little nugget.
And that's what I mean. Like I think they're missing it because they're not listening to the people who actually are researching this. We can do our own research on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, on social media and stuff, but the internet and all that. But who's to say any of that stuff is real? So, I don't know. Just listen to people that went to school for degrees, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though,
time I know they're human, so they can be wrong, but.
Well, absolutely. But the thing is, though, what I find more and more prevalent in society today is people don't take the time to do research. We don't want to do. We want the drive-through approach to absolutely everything. And for a lot of us who, for a lot of us, well, not really us, but there are a lot of people out there who operate off of hot takes rather than logic and personal education. True. And I think that's a lot of the problem we're facing is that, so many people are creating this unneeded, unwanted sphere of hysteria. And it's only adding to the chaos that's being caused by the virus itself.
I mean, and also, if people look in history, there were how many vaccines were made for things like malaria, polio, you name it, smallpox. And now they're kind of like, when I went in the military, they're kind of like, they're mandatory in the military,
right?
And now we got to take tuberculosis shots, or tests, or like when you go to a job, I had to take a TB test back when tuberculosis was huge or whatever. Would that be looked down upon then? Oh, I went to get checked for tuberculosis. I don't understand why it's looked down upon. And, but, I just continue to check with my doctors, make sure I'm okay. I got both shots. I'm not saying that other people should do it. I'm just saying, I got them. I feel fine. And I'm usually the guy to go with the flow anyways. And kind of, in the moment more than, because I can be, you can get hit by a car and die tomorrow, you know what I mean? Or
right.
I get struck by lightning right now, you know what I mean? I just live in the moment. I cherish my kids, my wife, my family time, and just do what I do, man. So I don't know, a lot, in my opinion, a lot has been, and I know it's a pandemic and it's a big deal, but a lot has been made to be worse. And, people hear stuff. I mean, I've known countless people that post stuff on Facebook, they share it or whatever, then they read it somewhere. And I have gone and said, hey, listen, I'm not trying to tell you anything, but I fact checked this and it's not right. It's not true, just
but
because
when you do that though, all of a sudden they start going off. Blah, 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 blah. And because heaven forbid you actually bring logic to a hot button issue.
Yep. True. But and that's one of the reasons why I don't anymore on social media. But if I have something strong, like a strong opinion to say, I will just put it up there. And then if haters or trolls want to comment, I just let it be. Sometimes I don't comment back, and sometimes I just block them. Hey, the block button works for me, man. So, hey, just a question, man. On the side here, I see some messages. They're on the bottom here. Are those viewers?
Yeah, we have one viewer that's saying virtue signaling in 2021. Let your guard down. Don't trust your intuition. Be weak and gullible.
I don't know what that means, but
yeah, viewer, if you're still watching, if you would kind of dissect what you said. and maybe we can kind of address, your situation.
I do see that there was another comment by the same person, though. The CDC confirmed on July 7th, 2021, the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, VAERS, had received 5,946 reports of death among people who received a COVID-19 vaccine. So
Right.
I think what the person's probably trying to say is we're being weak and gullible by following our intuition. But I'd like them to clear that up if they could. But
I don't really see how it's weak and gullible. I think that, we need to make our own informed decision, do our best to research everything. And for me personally, I want to pray about everything and get direction from God. I'm not trying to force that on anybody else, but that's what, I choose to do. And I need to, for me, I'm an information guy. I need to know everything that's available. So before I actually make a decision, because I'm not going to make any decision off of a knee-jerk reaction. And, like the viewer stated, there were so many deaths associated, or adverse effects associated with taking the vaccine. So again, it goes back to what we said, where people are scared, to take the vaccine because of, data like that. But they're also scared of the virus too. So it's really hard. Like I said, we're between a rock and a hard place of trying to figure out what in the hell do I do to survive these crazy times and to prevent turning into one of those creatures from I Am Legend.
Oh, that's a good movie, by the way.
A great movie, yeah.
Smith carried that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally, I have that faith in God also. I'm always telling people I'm not a religious per se person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feel a spiritual connection to what I call God. And that just helps me get through life, man. When there's situations, let's say you're in the because like you said, people look at these stats and basically they get scared. They start thinking, oh, man, I could be one of those 5,946 people. That's a lot of people. Well, there are millions in the world. So
they are.
But I'm not saying that that's a little number, but I'm just saying, if you have your faith in God, and I'm not like you said, I'm not trying to force that on anybody. I never do that, but it just makes me feel like I do my part and God will do his. And I feel like it'll come together. And people always, they're afraid of death and stuff. On off the cuff, I say this a lot. I'm not afraid of death. But I just don't want to die now.
Right.
I just, I don't fear it. And I feel like it's something like, when I'm dead, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. You know what I mean? But I think people tend to get too scared and too worried. And for me, I'm like Bob Marley. If you worry, you're not going to ever enjoy what's happening with you now. So look, if you're that worried, live your life, man.
Right.
Do something with your life and just enjoy it, before it's done. Everybody's got to go.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think right now in society, the term sheep is just greatly overused. Yeah, there are a lot of people out there. I'm not going to lie about this. There are a lot of people out there who base their decision off of what is trending and what the hot take is right now. And you may call them sheep. But I think somebody who is genuinely concerned and genuinely afraid and makes their decisions because they're afraid and they want to protect themselves and they've done their work. It doesn't mean they're by work, I mean the research. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're sheep. It just means that they came to that decision because, hey, I want to live. I want to be there for my little girl. When she gets older. I want to see the rest of her life. So I need to do what's best for me to make sure that that can happen. But I don't think that people should have the rocks of the word sheep thrown at them.
Right. I don't either. I just feel like it's unfair, because I think, you do what is good for you. I think everybody has that right to do what they do for themselves. Can you read that next?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Mr. Tongue Twister 77. My household hasn't taken the vaccine because of the unknown information of what the quick turnaround vaccine could cause later down the line. The same way the CDC and everyone has been able to fluidly, change their perspective on information given to the public. I think the same could be said about the possibility of putting this foreign vaccine in our body. Maybe it's good today, but 3 years down the road,
all that, yeah,
right. And and like I said earlier, and and you concur, I completely understand. That's a logical or a genuine concern. But I don't think that somebody should be stoned at the town square because they have these genuine concerns. And that's the problem that we are facing right now. And while we're having this show, again, I want everybody to understand, we're not advocating take the vaccine. We're not advocating don't take the vaccine. We're not advocating wear a mask or not advocating it. What we're saying is the problem we are facing is a heart problem with how we're treating our fellow man and woman. And that's what we need to to touch on. So, Mr. Tongue Twister 77, you have a legitimate concern, and like I've said more than once during this show, we're all between a rock and a hard place because of what we're facing. We're in a situation we've never faced before. Generations back, I'm sure the people of that day and age could say the same about, like you said, Jeff, malaria. Or maybe West Nile when it was a big deal, and so on and so forth. But yeah, if you would, man, I kind of just took over here. If you would, man, give your thoughts on that.
You're fine. I just want to say to Mr. Tongue Twister there, the whole, like Justin said, you have a legitimate concern. And I feel like the same way as Justin, where we respect that, you know what I'm saying? Right. And that's what I think we're talking about here is, like, right now, if I didn't agree with you or whatever, which that's for you to judge, not for me. But if I didn't, I would be like, oh, well, you're just not doing the right thing. You should get the vaccine, all this stuff. No, how stupid would I sound? And, but I do want to mention, though, about the 3 years down. The last comment they said there, maybe it's good today, but 3 years down. Okay, well, 3 years down the line, do you think nothing else can happen 3 years down the line? I mean, I just see it that way. I don't know. Maybe like that one troll that told me I got faulty logic or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's my logic and it's my thought, so I don't, and what we're talking about here, stop being mean to each other. There's no reason to hate on your neighbor just because they believe that they should put, as Mr. Tongue Twister said, a foreign vaccine in our body. Every vaccine is foreign. Everything you put in your body is foreign. I don't know, like I said, I'm not debating Mr. Tongue Twister, but I like the comment, and I think that makes for interesting conversation. And versus putting people down, I'd like to talk about it, straight up. I think about stuff like race, big issues like that, religion, politics, all these big issues, I think need to be talked about open-mindedly.
Right.
with a little heart, compassion for people's situations.
Right.
And I totally agree with that. And if it works for Mr. Tongue Twister, the whole, that he lives in, hasn't taken the vaccine, then it works, So it looks like there's another comment here from Mr. Tongue Twister.
Yeah, he's adding to it. Hey, by the way, Mr. Tongue Twister, we really appreciate you joining us. My time it's 11:42 p.m. and Big Jefe it's 12:42 a.m. So we definitely appreciate you joining in on this. But he goes on to say, I definitely respect you two guys' viewpoint. I wish most people had the same insight. A lot of people on both sides of the fence love talking down about the other side. Yes, you're absolutely right.
That's what we're saying, man. Just I just don't get it, man. I go on TikTok a lot. I'm on TikTok. You're on TikTok. And I see this guy. There's this guy on there that I follow, and he's full of energy, man. And you get great vibes from him, but yet there's trolls. There's people that want to get under his skin for no apparent reason. I mean, this guy, nothing but positivity coming from him, man. I mean, everybody looks a certain way, and we judge people by their looks. I'm trying to tell my kids, listen, go beyond their looks. You know what I mean? Somebody can look like they're homely. Is that the word I'm looking for? Homely or homey? Like when
depends on the situation.
Or like, just not, they're not wearing anything fancy or anything like that. Doesn't mean they're not a good person. And that's exactly what I try to teach my 8-year-old and my 11-year-old, because they tend to, nowadays, kids tend to make fun of things. And we did that too. But I mean, with the social media and all that, they copy that. You know what I mean? And so if my daughter comes to me and says, hey, I saw this on TikTok, it's a joke about a gay guy, I'm like, listen, I do agree that there's times in the 80s and the 90s that was okay to say. But and just because my kid does say or hear that joke and laughs, I tell them, it doesn't make you a bad person. I mean, you're laughing because it's a funny joke, but I just want you to understand that it could hurt other people's feelings. You have to take into consideration that other people are in that situation. I have gay friends, and so I watch a lot of what I say, but I don't necessarily, and I tell them straight up, look, not to trigger them or, offend any of my friends, but I don't agree with the lifestyle. Right. That's what I say. And they just look at me and go, yeah, hey, I'm with you on that. That's because that's your opinion and that's what is good for you.
Right.
I'm this way because I was born this way, or I was, you know what I mean? They tell me their situation. I go, okay, that's great. You know what I mean? I just don't see the point in putting someone down.
Right.
And just making them feel like crap. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over either.
No, it's good. Matter of fact, I want to touch on that. But before I jump on that, I want to go to another little commercial break. I want to preview our show, The Bama Standard. I'm on that, and I want to show you a little bit about what you might be missing if you have not yet tuned in.
George Teague and Antonio Langham say they carried the team in 92. They say you and Jay didn't do nothing. They say y'all were just there.
Yeah, they it worked hand in hand because we carried them against Florida. They were getting beat like a drum against Florida. Kept us in the game. And Antonio Lane gets the most valuable player when he's getting beat the whole night. He makes one play and he's the most valuable player. Where did they do that at? I give him
is anybody recording this? Anybody recording this?
Hey,
I got it.
I tell Antonio that all day.
Wait a minute, hold on.
I'm just telling you what they said. I was just telling you what they said now.
So yeah, guys, that's a little bit of what we do. That's every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Alabama football focused, and we have Alabama legends on there every day or every episode. But we're 90% nonsense and 10% actual sports talk. So even if you're not a fan of the Crimson Tide or football at all, you can just tune in and just laugh your ass off. I mean, that's
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. But back to what you were saying.
Awesome.
And I think a lot of times we don't take the time to really know a person. Yeah, we're forced to take sides. It's like everybody wants us to be a certain side. You know, everybody wants us to be a certain political affiliation.
Right.
But we're not being taught to know a person. Okay. You know, from a Christian perspective, you know, I don't have to agree with everything like you're saying. I don't have to agree with everything that you're doing. I don't have to agree with a certain lifestyle or perspective. But the thing is, what I am called to do is to love the person no matter what. Okay. And part of loving someone is knowing who they are and learning their journey. Okay. So, for example, a couple of years ago or so, you know, when I was working with the company I still work for now, you know, I have a customer who's actually one of my best friends. You know, he and his family, and they're Muslim. And a lot of people have had misconceptions about that particular religion and lifestyle associated with it. But my thing is, I wanted to get to know who this gentleman is. Okay, why do you believe what you believe? Okay, why is that something that you hold near and dear to your heart? So I spent several opportunities when he would walk into my place of business just to learn about him, about their religion, their way of thinking, so I can understand where they're coming from. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to become believe what they believe or become what they're advocating. I just want to know what makes them tick and what makes them think the way they do. And I told him, I said, look, I want to know what you're about, because too many people who have made your decision to be Islam, there's a misconception about you guys. You know, all people see are radicalists instead of the people who actually are truly following your particular religion. And he looked at me, he was stunned that I said that, because, you know, anytime you say anything about that particular religion, it's like taboo, and everybody's like, you know. But someone actually had a conversation with him because they wanted to know his heart. And you see, I think that we're missing out on that right now, because we're not having those conversations to know the heart of people. You know, some of us are, but we're the exception, not the rule. And I'm trailing off a little bit, but it does go hand in hand with what we're talking about.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, when people talk about stuff like religion or, you know, something like that, it's like, oh, what, you know, yeah, watch what you say or whatever. And it's understandable because that's the times that we live in. People do get offended very easily. But I also have a friend who's Muslim, and I wanted to understand the religion because, like, I do have family members and friends who don't like that religion, I guess you could say. They, you know, I've been told, oh, Muslims, they just kill people. That's their religion. I said, really? That's a religion? I don't think so, man, because there's Christians that kill people too.
Exactly. In the name of God too. Yeah.
Yeah, in the name of God, right? So does that make us as a Christian, all of us, you know, to say that blanket statement, that's another thing we have to stay away from, is blanket statements. It's very hard to do, but I don't think we can say all Muslims are this, all Christians are this. You know what I'm saying? So I asked him questions about, and I prefaced it with, listen, I hope you don't mind. You know, I am Christian. I was raised Christian and everything, and
yeah.
But I want to understand what do you believe, and what, as a Muslim, what do you believe? And he told me he was open like I was, and we had a great conversation about it. And yeah, there were things that in their religion that I don't agree with or whatever, but it also helped me that I'm not geared towards just one religion or whatever. You know what I mean? If anything,
Right.
I'm not denominational or whatever.
Right.
So that helped. It was a great conversation. In fact, we had it in a car driving on a trip. So, but it was great. I got to know a little bit more about. He's from Bangladesh, so he's
Oh, wow.
Bengali, and yeah, I got to learn about the fasting and all that stuff. So the Ramadan and it's just, to me, I just love learning about stuff anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Cultures, religions, and to me, it doesn't matter who your political affiliation is. It doesn't matter who you believe in, really. I mean, the only thing that I would have to take a stand on, man, a stance, a hard stance on, is the devil. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tolerate that. I'm not going to talk
Right.
to you about that. But hey, I'm not going to stop you from going and hey, talk with your friends about it. Whatever floats your boat. But I don't know, and a lot of times I get called a liberal, right? Which to me, it's not a bad word, but
Okay.
others it is. So, but
Exactly.
I'm not. I don't think I'm. Like I said, you can't make blanket statements. I don't think you can make that statement about anybody either, because they may be liberal in some sense, but there's a lot of conservatism, in me as well. So I can't say that.
Right.
So, but I did veer off a little bit. But
No, I mean,
looks like
if this is what we're saying, I mean, the thing is, well, we're too into labels,
Yeah.
we're too, like I said, we're too into sides. Why can't a person just be a person?
everything. I'm sorry. Everything has, and I hate that when people, you do this. Oh, like I was being nice to, let's say, I see a live on TikTok, right? And it's an interesting conversation, but it happens to be a beautiful woman, and I say, hey, you looking great, just a compliment or whatever. And some troll will say something like, oh, you're being a simp.
Exactly, and you're
We gotta
thirsty.
say something. So I had to learn what a simp was because
Yeah,
I didn't.
us old heads had to learn some new lingo.
Being nice to a lady and calling her beautiful is a simp. Come on, man. That's not my generation. But
Real quick, I do want to. I want to piggyback off of that. Mr. Tongue Twister 77 said, when we were talking, about our encounters with Muslim people, he said, I had the same experience with a Muslim girl when I first got to college. I had a male friend that was 3 times her size that was terrified to be around her. So, yeah, I mean, that goes hand in hand with what we're saying. But back to what you were saying, man. Yeah, we're in an age to where, you can't give, in this instance, a beautiful woman a compliment because you're a simp. You're thirsty. You're desperate.
Or you're a creep.
Or you're a creep. Yeah. Or you're cringy, as the youngsters say. I realize I'm dating myself here. But whereas you and I came from a generation where we're taught respect. When I say a woman is beautiful, you say a woman is beautiful as a term of respect. It's not with an ulterior motive. It's a term of respect, and you see, I come from an age like you do, where Boys to Men and Brian McKnight and people like that who were singing about loving a lady, treating her with respect, making her feel like a princess, sweeping her off her feet, the chivalry and all that.
Oh, now that's just
that. No, you can't do that nowadays. No, not at all. Chivalry is a thing of the past.
Without having an ulterior motive.
Exactly.
Like, come on. And that's coming from females as well, which is sad because they say chivalry is dead. Well, I think that, I think those negative labels and stuff that killed it. Because why would a man then, or anybody, respect anybody else. And that's why I think respect just went down the tubes, man. And like you said, I don't think they're teaching that anymore. I hope they would be, but
They're definitely not teaching it in music and pop culture. We can definitely agree with that. But
right.
also too, parents aren't teaching that now for whatever reason. Our generation that were taught those things, and we are buying CDs that sung about those things. We're not passing it on to this next generation. Matter of fact, a lot of us, and this is going to be a topic for another day, a lot of us aren't teaching a whole lot of anything. And we're leaving this.
That would be another topic.
We're leaving this generation that's up and coming to the mercy of trends, to the mercy of what's popular, to the mercy of what they're being told by their peer groups, and where they can't make decisions based on about who they are, based on self-discovery, but instead there's who they are is being determined by somebody else.
I agree. It's a sad, sad thing, I think we should turn that around, people. People out there, by the way, thanks for watching us.
Yeah.
I think Justin's a great guy, and I appreciate you having this
man.
too, man.
Hey, anybody that listens to my show religiously every week, the Bama Standard, man, he's an okay guy, because if he can listen to all our nonsense, then he must be a good dude.
That's right. That's right. That Bama Standard, I love that show, by the way. Yeah,
it's going to be even bigger next week, man, especially with the opening week of college football. But back to what we're saying, to some of y'all who are still watching, what we just talked about may have veered off, I guess, from our initial topic, but honestly, it really doesn't, because the main connecting piece is respect.
And you know what? Can I add to that? I'm going to add one word. It's tolerance. I think people look down on that word now. It's like, why shouldn't we? You know what I mean? I understand. I do see there's another side. There's somebody who told me tolerance doesn't sound right, and so I think respect does sound better.
Yeah.
But you still need a little tolerance, because there's things that you're not going to agree with at all, but you respect their side and you tolerate it. I know that it sounds, some people say it sounds kind of like, oh, you're just tolerating like bad behavior or something like that. No, not necessarily. I think there's things that you should, not accept. You don't have to accept it. Just respect it.
Exactly.
And if you're put in a situation where, let's say it's a coworker or somebody you have to see daily, and you're like, oh God, here we go again with the Jesus talk, or, here we go again with this Muslim guy or whatever. Just tolerate it, man. Go about your own business, and I understand the fear, I guess, the media kind of puts a lot of fear, especially on Muslims and all that.
But the media uses fear as their tool to sell their papers. I didn't mean to interrupt. It uses it as their tool to sell their papers, to get the viewers, to get the clicks, and all that. So they're not necessarily in the business of promoting what is actually good, but what's going to get them profit.
Right. And like you said, piggybacking off of that, the beginning topic, the vaccine, I think that just made things, it compounded people just treating each other like crap. It's like, oh, that's our pass. That's our hall pass to, in not in the relationship type, but in the way of, I guess that's their permission slip, to go ahead and treat somebody badly because, oh, they took the vaccine or they didn't take the vaccine. So yeah, don't even, treat people, divide and conquer is what somebody just said. And it's true.
Well, it's true. It's absolutely true because that kind of what our society is founded on right now is divide and conquer. Put people in this focus group, put people in this focus group, cause tension and over here with these people, cause tension with those people over there, instead of bringing together people and unifying people. So people like you and I are interested in unity. We are. But the majority of the whole is not, because, like I said, our society thrives off of chaos and controversy. They don't want us together as one. And that's the problem we're running into, especially in the topic we're talking about tonight. It's just another situation that's going to divide, our nation, our society, as well as societies across the globe.
I agree. And that's why I said it's a sad day, man, a sad time to live in a way, but I feel like when I met you, Justin, I thought, man, this guy, he may have other views on other things. I didn't know, I don't know what your views were. It didn't matter to me. I thought this guy is a human being with a heart. You know what I'm saying? And I think those people go a long way, man. And I think if we stand together, like you said, unity. Well, I said that wrong. Unity, is a very important thing, because I think we can go against that whole, section that wants us divided and wants us to not agree with each other. And so it's a difficult subject, because there's so many things in life. It's like a chess game, so many possibilities of what people think and what people want us to do. But I think if we navigate it in a decent way, and just have your own dignity about yourself, and don't worry about what social media is saying, and what's a trend, what's a good trend to follow. I mean, I think we as adults should teach the kids that too, because the kids are the future, no matter what we think. I mean, I'm always telling my kids, man, you kids are ungrateful, man. When we were kids, blah, blah, blah. And, that's a typical thing to say, right? And they go, here we go again. Dad saying when he was a kid, Dad, times are different. Yeah, I understand times are different, but, respect should stay the same. You respect your elders. Just it doesn't take that much to do either. If somebody sat next to me, a stranger, total stranger, starts saying stuff about what they believe, who am I to say, man, you're dumbass? No, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do.
I agree with you.
It's not respectful. And second of all, why am I putting this person down? Why? Who am I? I think also humility is a big thing that kids especially should learn. Let's say in team sports nowadays, you got the kids going, seeing things on TV where, the pros are like taunting, and I'm not against a little fun taunting. A lot of these players know each other. So, when it comes to football and when it comes to sports or whatever, I'm not against that, but I'm like, respect goes a long way, man. You can just say, hey, I'm just kidding, man, or whatever. I don't know, just my thoughts about it.
And I appreciate that, man. It's definitely valued here, and any of your opinions are definitely welcome, because we're open here. That's the biggest thing this forum is for. Is to promote openness. Well, we could actually keep going for another hour, but we're actually coming up on the end of our show. And for those of you who joined us tonight on our little adventure, we definitely appreciate it. We definitely appreciate your feedback. And if you would, those who watched with us, please watch the replay and then share it with your friends. Let them know what we're about. But before we go, I want to move into our closing segment, and I want to give you the floor, Jeff, to talk about Off the Cuff Podcast. What that's about, how we can find it, and everything associated with that, and why people need to tune in.
I appreciate it, man. Off the Cuff. My buddy and I, we his name. So it's off the cuff is OFFDACUFF. FF because, I'm from the Bronx. Like people from Chicago, Bears. So
Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. Yeah, exactly. So I decided to go with Off the Cuff as the name. And, it's with Big Jefe, myself, and my friend Yulika, who we've been friends for years. We met when we were like 14 years old. I'm 46 right now. We're both 46. And we clicked right from the beginning, and 32 years of friendship later, we're still like brothers, man. We see each other, we hug each other. It's like we never get to see each other like we used to. So we decided to make this podcast, and it's a great outlet, man. We discuss everything under the sun, basically. And we tend to go off topic a lot.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, I had Dustin on as a guest when I first met you, right? And it was crazy. It was a ride. I always tell people it's a ride when you get on Off the Cuff. It's like an experience, like Joe Rogan experience, but it's the off the cuff experience. And I think, it makes you feel comfortable because, you can talk to us, man. Yulika's the same as us. He'll give you his view, but he will never dog you out for your view.
Right.
He might question you and want you to elaborate.
Right. And he will do that. If you please understand, folks, if you're on that show and you have a viewpoint, be ready to defend it, because he does it in a respectful way, but he wants to know the why behind your statement.
Right. And we do have a segment called the Devil's Advocate. We haven't really done it a lot. We need to get people to write in some problems. So if you will, go ahead and send your problems to off the cuff podcast at gmail.com. And you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts. A lot of people listen to us on Spotify. Anchor is the main platform that we do it on, and that's becoming a big one now. So yeah, just check us out. OFFDACUFF.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time to let the folks know about that. A couple other program notes here on the CTS Interview Room YouTube channel, as well as various other platforms we use. Got to bring attention to the Stingray Scoop. That's every Friday, and Stingray, our beloved internet personality, on Fridays we'll talk about the week in sports, as well as other situations that are coming up. He also is a big advocate of keeping everybody informed weather-wise. And for those of us who are on the South right now, it's a pretty big deal, because Hurricane Ida is about to wreak havoc, if it's not already doing so. It's something to keep an eye on. On Thursdays, 3rd and 3 with Clemson Time, Joey, and again, Stingray. Stingray's kind of popular here. He kind of monopolizes a lot.
He sure is.
No, we love them though. But basically, what that is, man, is 3 sports guys going back and forth at each other. Some interesting arguments, entertaining arguments, especially between Clemson Tom and Joey. Stingray kind of serves as the WWE referee, so it's very entertaining. But in the middle of all their little entertaining chaos, they usually have a great interview with a celebrity. Recently, WWE Hall of Fame. Well, she's not Hall of Famer yet, but she will be, because she deserves it. Mickie James. If you're a big WWE fan, TNA fan, you definitely need to go back and watch that, because she was on there. Jason Campbell of the Washington Redskins, now the Washington football team, was on there recently. John Copeland, 1992 national championship winner and 9-year NFL veteran with the Cincinnati Bengals, was on as well. So you can tell, great interviews, great time. Me personally, like we have already discussed, and you saw a commercial for, the Bama Standard every Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes, we are Alabama focused. We keep you up to date with all things Alabama. It's me, former All-SEC linebacker Marvin Constance, senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith, and comedy legend Steve Brown, leading the ship there. And like I said, we have an Alabama legend on every week. And like next week, like I said, we normally meet on Tuesdays, but We're going to meet next Wednesday, September the 2nd. That's due to, like I mentioned before, Hurricane Ida wreaking havoc. So I want everybody to be safe, and also too, there's threats of power outages. So just to kind of keep everything on the up and up, we're going to move to Thursday. Another big program note: Saturday, opening day of today was opening day of college football, but the big one is going to be next week. The Bama Standard Crew is going to be live on air following Alabama versus Miami matchup. 30 minutes after the game is over, we will be on the air dissecting what we saw. Me, comedian Steve Brown, and Touchdown Alabama Magazine Stephen M. Smith will be on board, but also with us, Alabama legend Justin Fowler, and he also was a Pro Bowler for the Tennessee Titans. Along with him, former Alabama running back and legend Bo Scarborough. So we are not going to be short of talent, but that's what you need to expect coming up. Big Jefe, man, I appreciate you spending time with me this late night. I had a great time, and I hope people got something out of it.
I hope so too, man. Great,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And if you loved it, guys, please let us know, because we would love to continue doing this. We're going to talk about parenting next, so y'all be sure and stay tuned for that. But anyway, everyone else, have a great night. Big Jefe, have a great night too.
You, man. Peace.